Stop only using TCM methods. Enhance your treatment today with traditional Japanese medicine. Now, if you're watching this video, you've probably heard a little bit about Japanese acupuncture and Moxa. Japanese acupuncture and Moxa is soft, subtle, more gentle, right? It's also way more effective. And if you're looking to get more effective results with your patients, then you have found the right place. I today would like to talk to you about the most effective things that you can do today utilizing your TCM understanding of acupuncture to get more effective results with your patients and to start really bridging your gap between TCM and traditional Japanese medicine. My name is Maya Suzuki with ShinKyu University, and I have helped acupuncturists from around the globe to bridge their practice between TCM and traditional Japanese medicine. Today, I want to show you some really easy and effective techniques to put into your practice. So let's get into it. Now, if you are already wanting to explore traditional Japanese medicine and really wanting to enhance and build confidence in your practice, then set up a chat with me and let's discuss how ShinKyu University might be able to bridge that gap for you. There's a link for that in the description box below. Now, some of the key ways that I have found that TCM practitioners can really enhance their current practice without a lot of effort is changing just a few things. Number one is definitely having a better understanding of both the pulse and the Hara diagnosis. Now, I have made a lot of videos on pulse and Hara diagnosis, so I'll go ahead and link some of those down below in the description. However, I'm going to give you a few quick and easy tips today on this video. Now, the number one thing, of course, is really having a more in-depth understanding and a more critical understanding of the pulse. The pulse is something that often is quite subjective to the practitioner, and I would like you to have a more dialed-in way of understanding every patient without having so many variables. Now, some of the variables that you can get with pulse diagnosis are not putting your fingers in the right place, not having the same depth every single time you take it, and also looking for different factors every time you take the pulse. So, what I'd like you to do next time you go into clinic is look for the deficiency in the pulse when you have that correct positioning. I have a whole video on pulse that I'll link up here that I just did recently that'll be really good for that. Saying that really having an understanding of where the most efficient place in the pulse is really going to enhance your treatment. The reason why that's different, of course, than TCM is because I'm focusing on deficiency rather than focusing on excess. Now, excess is at the root of most TCM treatments, but in traditional Japanese medicine, we're really looking for what is weak. How is the immune system, how is the body, how is the Wei Qi weakened to allow the influence of a pathogenic influence, wind, Xie Qi, Jia, any of these things, how did that come into play to really influence the body? It can only happen, just like in Western medicine, is if the immune system drops and also if they got hit by a car, which is then going to create deficiency from getting hit by a car or having a lot of mental strain, which is also going to weaken the immune system. The next thing I would love for you to start utilizing in your practice today is Moxa treatment. Now, if you're unsure about how to have a half-grade Moxa practice, you've never used Moxa, go ahead and start using stick-on Moxa. It's a nice, easy way to ease yourself into how Moxa can really be beneficial for your clients and get you higher results. Now, if you're unsure where to use Moxa, I would like you to think really simplistically to start out and just say, I'm going to tonify the deficient place in the body with Moxa. Now, eventually, I would love for you to understand that Moxa can be used for both dispersion and for tonification, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to keep it really simple. Just put Moxa where it's deficient, use the stick-on. If you don't like the stick-on, you can use pull, but pull isn't going to be as effective as even the stick-on, so I would eventually like to see you using stick-on and then maybe half-grade Moxa, needle top Moxa, Chinetsu. Now, the last thing that I'd love for you to influence your practice is, of course, your acupuncture technique. But before I get into that, I would love to know where you're struggling the most in your practice. Is it confidence? Is it pulse taking? Is it just understanding complex cases? Is it Moxa? Put it in the description box below. All right, so acupuncture techniques. Now, it becomes a lot more difficult when we get into very specific techniques, so I'm just going to give you something very easy to do, and that is after inserting the needle, I'd love for you to go back to the pulse, check the pulse, and see if it has changed. Now, when you become a student of ShinKyu, I often ask you to hang on to that needle, and while you're retaining it, keep your hand on the shaft so you can feel that ki moving in the body. But for the sake of this video and just starting the introduction for you, I would love to see you place a point, place and retain that needle like you normally would do in your TCM, go back to the pulse and see if you had made a change. If you have, great, and if it's a negative change, well, you know that your needling wasn't correct. Now, I've seen really simplistic things like this, as well as way more advanced technique changes, make huge, huge effects on my students' practices. One of those is James. Now, James, I just released a video where I interviewed him and how learning traditional Japanese medicine has really affected and expanded his practice in such a positive way. And one of the things I think is most profound for James is that he really studies the classics and he loves studying the classics. And he was super excited when he came into ShinKyu because he realized that what was written in the classics is actually done in practice in traditional Japanese medicine, both acupuncture and in Moxa. So he got to finally see how the classics should actually be enacted in real life. And it's made such a profound effect on both his research and, of course, on his clinical results. Now, another place that I've been really excited to see the change is with my student, Jimmy. Now, Jimmy was a practitioner who really struggled after graduation. He thought he would have it in the bag. And after graduating TCM education, his TCM education, he really struggled to have a fruitful and confident practice. If any of you have not watched Jimmy's interview, it's really inspirational. So I highly suggest checking it out. I'll link to it in the description box. Saying that though, one of the things that really struck me about Jimmy is how much confidence he's built in his practice by simply adding in palpation and really specific and directed and thoughtful ways of needling, doing Moxa, and really understanding the patient. And Jimmy really did that through mentorship and step-by-step guidance, but also trusting in the process. And he now has a completely traditional Japanese medicine practice, and it is booming. It's super exciting to see. The last student I really want to highlight is Noelle. Now, Noelle lives in Costa Rica. She's very isolated from other acupuncturists simply because of her location in the world, which I would say is true for many of us. And she really struggled to get mentorship that she could do while she lived in Costa Rica, but also opportunities to really dive deep into traditional Japanese medicine. And because of ShinKyu, her practice has really started to thrive. And it's a really beautiful thing to see people like Jimmy and Noelle and also James. These are people who are all around the world, in England, the US, down to Costa Rica, and all of them are finding the same results of having higher confidence with their practice and their diagnosis and more effectiveness in their treatments. And they're doing this because not only did their confidence become more substantial and more grounded, but they also are starting to have a more directed and more clear and easy to understand way to approach the patient and to get results with them. Now, if this sounds like something that you are interested in, I would love to chat with you. Again, there is a link for that in the description box. Let's set up a time and really talk through the barriers that you are coming up against in your practice and see if ShinKyu can help you. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching. It was truly a pleasure to spend time with you today. If you're interested in really dialing in your Hara diagnosis, then I'd love for you to watch this video right here. She's hugging the bed. Oh, Nana girl, you're so cute. Are you so cute, Nana? Do you want to go for a walkie? You do? All right, one more video, girl. One more.